In this video, I'm going to rate the best looking and the worst looking pro bikes in the peloton this season. So it's great to finally have racing back on the telly. Been a long, tough lockdown for most of us, so having some racing to watch is really exciting, and hopefully it continues with no COVID-19 restrictions going forward. And with all this racing back on TV, it's given us our first chance to see lots of bikes and new team sponsors and new liveries, because over the winter, like most winters, quite a few changes going on, and I won't go into detail about all the changes because most cycling websites have done a really good detailed list of what teams are riding what bikes and what equipment and tyres and so on. Instead, in this video, I picked out some of the bikes I think look the best and the worst, and it's purely a bit of fun, so don't take it too seriously, and it's just my opinion. And of course, if you disagree or agree, let me know in the comment section down below. I haven't gone through every single bike here because the video would be really long, so I picked out about half a dozen or so. I'll just go through them and see what you think. So do let me know down below. Okay, let's dive in. I'm going to start with easily the best looking bike in the entire peloton this year, in my opinion. It is, of course, the Specialized Tarmac SL7 belonging to Frenchman Julian Allaphippe in World Champs livery. So a stunning looking bike. Got the rainbow colours in a fade emanating from the rear dropout right across the frame and into the fork. For me, it's a really smart, classy looking bike. Real nice use of the rainbow colours on that bike. So yeah, really smart looking bike. And compared to normal quick step team bikes, which are black with a splash of blue, which look fairly boring if I'm honest, this bike looks really, really good, and it definitely stand out in a pro peloton this year. So winning the World Champs jersey gives the rider and the team and the bike brand the opportunity to do a very custom bike. And they typically use the colours from the rainbow jersey. And we've seen some good designs. We've also seen some really bad designs. For me, I think one of my favourites probably goes back to 2015 when Peter Sagan won the Richmond World Champs. Had a really nice sort of camo strip along the top tube and down tube, looked really good. And Mads Pedersen's Trek Madone with the bold stripes from 2 years ago looked really good. But there have been some bad looking bikes as well. But let me know which are your favourite or worst World Champs liveried bikes from the past few years. So that's a good bike, definitely will stand out in the peloton. So Tarmac SL7, Roval wheels, gunwall tyres, black bar tape, saddle. Yeah, looks good. On to my next bike. And when I put in this video together, I was going to make this a World Tour Team Bikes video, but I can't because this bike is too good not to include. It is the Canyon-SRAM women's team bike, and it looks absolutely stunning. And in my opinion, it's easily the best looking pro team bike in the peloton this year, full stop. So it's a Canyon Air Road, which is an aero bike, so big down tube, big seat tube, and a big canvas for a nice paint job. And the designers behind the bike have gone to town, really smart, very modern, really cool looking paint job. I'd happily buy and ride this paint job if it was made available to the public. And in my opinion, better than many custom bespoke paint jobs I've seen at bike shows in the past. So yeah, he's done a really good job there. Goes well with SRAM goodies as well. So yeah, really nice looking bike. And also nice to see the Canyon-SRAM team putting lots of pictures of the bikes and riders up on their social media streams. Many World Tour team bikes have an appalling social media presence, make it really difficult to get hold of pictures of their bikes. So nice to see Canyon-SRAM really engaging with social media, sharing lots of pictures of their bikes. So yeah, nice looking bike. You can't have a video of the hottest bikes in the pro peloton without including a Bianchi. The oldest bike company in the world has given us a brand new paint job this season that brings their iconic celeste green colour bang up to date with a very on-trend striped fade that looks fantastic on a Specialissima and Ultra XR4. The jury is out in the comment section on whether it's better or worse than previous efforts from Bianchi, but in my humble opinion, I think they've done a really good job. That marriage of history and modernity works really well on these bikes. So yeah, they look fantastic. I would happily race and ride and buy a bike with this paint job. Onto the Trek-Segafredo team bikes, and I think they look really good. Not the best looking, but I wouldn't mind riding one of these team bikes. I like the red top half of the frame over a dark blue lower half. I don't like the massive Trek down tube logo. It's way too big really, isn't it? So if they downsized that, it would look better, a better balance. I know why I've done it, it's a standout, but I think a smaller logo will still stand out in the peloton. I like the matching white bar tape and white saddle, works well. The Bontrager logos also stand out as well. But yeah, it's quite a nice bike, could be better, but pretty good. But it's actually the women's team bikes that look really, really good. So the same bikes, Madone or Monda, they've got this really kind of streaking blue paint job over the top half of the frame and seat tube that looks really, really good. A downer is, again, the massive white Trek logo on the down tube, which is simply too big. If they scale it down, it'd be a really classy frame, so almost there. Got nice white bar tape matching the logo, but no white saddle, which is a bit of a missed opportunity. I think for both of these bikes, the potential for a really good, classy looking bike is there if the logo was a smidgen smaller, but yeah, still good looking bikes. On to Movistar, and a team for me that have always had some good looking bikes, especially in the last few years when they've gone to this nice light blue, which matches their Movistar jersey really well. We've now got a nice fade because fades are in fashion, so light blue to dark blue fade across the front half of the frame and including the fork. Nice white logo on the down tube and the wheels. White saddle, but no white bar tape. What get on there? Need some white bar tape to really take it to the next level. But the whole bike and the team kit package looks really good. So yeah, really smart looking bikes in my opinion. I think blue on a bike always works well, but the blue fade with white logos, yeah, it looks really good. On to possibly the sexiest looking bike in the peloton. Well, paint job aside, it definitely is. The Wilier Volante SLR and the Zero SLR, both bikes which are reviewed here on my channel. Link above and down below if you missed that. In the paint jobs you can buy as a consumer, they look absolutely stunning. And in the Astana livery, they look really good. Not as good as they could be, but they do look good. I like the shade of blue they're going for in the fork and the front half of the frame, and it fades into a black with silver rear stays and a splash of yellow on the seat tube and a rear dropout, so it looks kind of cool. Colour match stem as well. Go for black bar tape and saddle. I don't think white would work in this case. So yeah, really smart looking frame, nice paint job. So not quite as good looking as the stock paint jobs from Wilier, especially that velvet red, but pretty good. And if I was a pro rider, I'd happily ride that bike for sure. On to Bahrain Victorious, which is an odd name, but new name, same bikes as last year, still sponsored by Merida, and they're using the same paint jobs by the looks of it, which is a good thing in my opinion, because the bikes they launched last year when Mark Cavendish joined the team look really, really fresh and sharp. So we've got this really strong orange to black fade across the front half of the frame and a fork with orange bar tape, giving a really kind of strong front end, so it works really well for me. Now normally I'm against coloured bar tape. It can easily look a bit naff, so white or black is often best and matched to the colour of the saddle. But here I think I can let them off because the orange bar tape matches the frame, and an orange saddle or a white saddle would not work, so a black saddle in this case works really well. So a really strong, sharp looking bike for me. Onto the EF Education Nippo team bikes. And for the last couple of years, these bikes have probably looked the most modern and contemporary in the pro peloton. Got this pink hazard camo across the top half of the frame. That perfectly matches the team kit, the jersey, the socks, gloves as well. So really cohesive look. And it looks like the same paint jobs are being used in 2021 as well. So nice continuation there. But the one thing that lets it down for me is the Cannondale logo. And I know it harks back to their original logo some 30, 40 years ago. So talk about the legacy and heritage, and I get that. But on such a modern, contemporary looking paint job, it doesn't really work for me. It sort of jars a bit. So personally, I like to see a more modern typeface used on its frame to give it that really modern look the bike definitely has. So almost there, not quite, but definitely one of the standout bikes in the pro peloton. So those, in my opinion, are the best looking bikes in the pro peloton this season. So quite an easy selection to make, I think, but let me know what you think down below. And now on to the worst looking bikes, which are a tougher selection to make, but there are a few bikes that stand out for me. Some of the bikes are okay with a few changes that could be really good, but missed opportunity for me. And we'll start with Groupama-FDJ, who are riding Lapierre bikes. Now I'll start by saying that I do like Lapierre bikes. I've ridden some in the past, really nice ride quality, very distinctive looking bikes as well, which is hard in this marketplace of bikes looking the same. But I think the paint job don't really do the bikes justice. Got this mostly black paint job, a few white splashes on the seat tube and a fork, and it just looks a bit boring and a bit plain, to be honest. I like the fact it's got matching white bar tape and white saddle, which works for me. But when you've got such a distinctive frame, which is Zelios is, with that triple triangle type design, and the air code, which is a really smart looking aero bike, I think a really strong paint job will really make the bike really pop and really stand out in the pro peloton, because otherwise it just looks a bit, you could easily miss it in the pro peloton despite such a distinctive looking frame. So yeah, missed opportunity in my opinion. On to Cofidis, and the French team are once again sponsored by Italian bike brand Rosa. Now Rosa, as I'm sure many of you know, makes some beautiful bikes. I saw them at a bike show a few years ago, and they had the most astounding selection of bikes I've ever seen. Stunning paint jobs, beautiful lines. So last year the bikes had an all orange frame and fork, which I think looked really nice. Really nice shade of orange. Just looked really simple, really elegant, really classy. But this year, sadly, they're going for a two-tone orange front end and fork with mostly black rear end and a white logo, which looks a bit, I mean, there's too many black bikes in the pro peloton, aren't there really? So another almost all black bike is a shame really. I wish they stuck with the all orange bikes from last year, just really simple and elegant. And while I'm mostly focusing on the bikes, it is worth mentioning how the bikes complement or don't complement the team jerseys and the kit. In some cases, the bikes go with the team kit really well, like Cannondale, for example. But here, the bikes clash horribly with the Cofidis team jersey. So yeah, a bit of a jarring mix. Let me know what you think down below. On to Bora-Hansgrohe, using a specialized Tarmac SO7, of course. And they're mostly black, fairly boring bikes, as we said. There's a splash of white around the rear stays and seat tube. But like the quick-step bikes, they're fairly plain, fairly simple. Yeah, there's not really much to say about them, really. Just not that inspiring. Just seems an opportunity to do something bolder, which I'm sure Pete Sagan will get a custom paint job and stand out from his teammates and make all his teammates jealous. But for the stock team bikes, they look a bit dull, really. So yeah, quickly moving on. And then to the Wanty-Gobert team bikes. And this plucky pro Conti team is stepping up to the World Tour this season, which means we'll see their bikes a lot more in the pro peloton, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your opinion on their team bikes. So as last year, this year they're sponsored by German brand Cube, and are using mostly the new Lightning C68X, which is the aero bike that launched about 2 years ago. So an aero bike with all the usual aero features, but there's quite a lot going on. So we've got a massive down tube logo like Trek, like Merida, which is way too big, but I know it's a standout in a pro peloton, but massive. Massive logos on the wheels as well. Then we've got yellow bar tape, no matching saddle, but white details on the frame, fork and the rear stays, which kind of matches the yellow bar tape. But yeah, quite a lot going on, quite busy, quite an assault on the eyes. So for me, yeah, too much going on, too busy, just too, and with the angular lines of the aeroframe, it's just it's a lot going on. Let me know what you think down below. And now for the last bike in my video, and I should add that this video has been in no particular order. I haven't ranked them from best to worst or anything like that, just the order they came on my head in. But I've saved the most controversial until the end, because I'm sure there will be comments. It is the UAE Team Emirates Colnago race bikes. Well, it's because they have made some of the most beautiful bikes we've ever seen to grace the pro peloton. And if you saw my video on the C64 Frozen, link above if you missed it, you know they have the capacity to make some absolutely sensational looking bikes. But this is not a sensational looking bike in any way. It's a bit boring. So all black frame. We do have a gold logo on some of the down tubes, which is a bit flash. A simple red Emirates logo on the top tube. But not really much to say. No white bar tape, white saddle. Very conservative, very plain, very boring, I have to say, given how flamboyant they can be. Although they do look good when they're yellow, so there is that. So there we go then, my list of the best looking and the worst looking bikes in the pro peloton this year. Do let me know what you think of this list, the best and worst, and what I've missed out in the comment section down below. I'd love to get your feedback on which bikes you think look amazing and which look rubbish. So let me know down below. Anyway, just a reminder, it's a bit of fun, so don't take it too seriously. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel by hitting that red button down below. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoy watching it. And I'll see you all again next time. Thank you so much for watching.